Former Olympia City Council person Jessica Bateman was recently elected to the Washington State House of Representatives for District 22. We've invited her to the show to talk about statewide policies for economic recovery. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you again, and congratulations for moving
Thank
up
you.
in your political career. That's
Thank you.
exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. Happy to be doing it and to be of service.
Yeah, so you were representing Olympia residents to develop city policies, but now you represent Olympia residents at the state level. So can you explain your new role?
Yes. So I served on the Olympia City Council for 5 years, and now I get to serve all of the constituents of the 22nd Legislative District, which include Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater. So the breadth of my constituent work has increased, and there are similarities. I get to make sure that the priorities that my constituents bring forward make it into policy. It's really about checking in with folks in our community and finding out what's impacting them. I also think that our budget at the state level, like at the city level, is a moral document, and that's how we demonstrate our values. So we get to ensure that the priorities that our constituents in the 22nd have established are included in the state budget. I do serve on three committees. I serve on the Healthcare and Wellness Committee. I'm vice chair, and then I serve on Housing, Human Services, and Veteran Affairs, and also the Capital Budget Committee. So I'm really excited to take on those new roles and the leadership role in the Healthcare Committee. And they relate, I think there's so much intersectionality, healthcare, housing, being on both of those committees together is really, the two topics relate to each other. So I'm happy to be on both.
Awesome. Let's start with your Healthcare and Wellness Committee. Is there any new legislation to help people who have lost their health care?
Sure. So we have a number of pieces of legislation. First, we put $6 million in healthcare access for the underinsured into our COVID relief package, which was one of our very first early action bills. There's also Senate Bill 5377, which is an extension of Cascade Care and a discussion on how we can get increased federal support to increase coverage for Washingtonians in our state. And we've also increased or put in $618 million for vaccine distribution and contact tracing and testing, which we know is a significant topic in our community right now.
Yeah, that's kind of like my next question. You read my mind. What are the plans to guarantee access to vaccination to all residents, even the ones who are not currently covered by insurance?
Well, first, vaccines are free in Washington state. So if you are being charged for a vaccine, you should go to the Department of Health. You can actually reach them at covid.vaccine@doh.wa.gov, because in order to get access to the most amount of people, they are free in Washington state. If you're insured and you get charged for a COVID vaccine, contact your insurer. Currently, we're in phase 1B, tier 1 of our vaccine distribution, which is a mouthful to say, which means folks that are 65 years and older and 50 and older who live in a multi-generational household. I know that there's a strict definition for multi-generational household. For instance, my dad lives with a 25-year-old, and that doesn't count as a multi-generational household. So you have to look up what that encompasses. But this is in addition to the populations that were eligible in the first phase, 1A, which includes healthcare workers that are at a high risk for contacting COVID-19, first responders, and people who live or work in long-term care facilities, and people who work in health settings who are at risk of COVID-19. I think it's challenging right now because as we roll out this vaccine distribution system, there are so many people that are ready to get vaccinated, thankfully, but we do not currently have enough vaccine for all the people that are eligible. My hope and my expectation is that with the new administration, we will see vaccine distribution and production increase significantly so we can vastly improve the number of people that are vaccinated in our community.
And maybe some new vaccines come in, and that might help out too, right? Let's move on to the Housing, Human Services, and Veterans Affairs Committee. Are veterans at higher risk during the pandemic of becoming houseless?
I think under normal circumstances, even pre-COVID-19, veterans suffer from behavioral health issues at greater rates than the public. And there is a link between behavioral health issues and homelessness. And in normal times, veterans experience higher rates of homelessness. So I think it's sadly true, most likely, that they're probably experiencing homelessness at a disproportionate rate right now. We do have an eviction moratorium that the governor has in place to the end of March. And we've also just recently this week in the Healthcare, Housing, Human Services, and Veterans Affairs Committee, we just passed a bill out of the committee, which is House Bill 1181, which includes outreach and services for preventing suicide among our veterans and military members, and creates a veteran and military member suicide prevention account and suicide prevention community-based services, because we know there is that link between suicide, behavioral health, and all those issues and homelessness that are wrapped together. So I'm really excited about that bill, getting access to folks and services so we can prevent any of those things from happening. And we have prioritized early action and rental assistance to prevent homelessness.
Well, you just mentioned the eviction moratorium. It expires the end of March. Are there plans to extend that? How's that working?
Yeah, thankfully, the governor did extend the moratorium. It's been continually extended, and
Hmm.
currently ends in late March. So we know that people are going to be experiencing hardships from this pandemic for a significant number of months, even after March. In that moratorium extension, there does include a provision that the legislature needs to take action. We need to figure out a long-term plan. In the interim, immediately in our early action budget items, we passed $362 million in the House for rental assistance and foreclosure assistance, in recognition that we need to get money to people right away, immediately. And it's my priority to meet the challenge of this moment by investing significantly in supports that our communities desperately need. Senator Cruder is working on a bill that will increase renter protections for tenants, even if they are unable to get rental assistance. That is Senate Bill 5160. And in the House, Representative Macri has a bill that establishes protections for tenants from future evictions. Unfortunately, currently in Washington state, you can evict a person with 20 days notice, even if they are caught up on their back rent, which is not acceptable. We're working on that. That's House Bill 1236. And then Representative Ormsby has House Bill 1277, which increases the document recording fee. So that money can be put towards additional rent assistance and, critically, an investment in permanent supportive housing, which is housing for folks that are chronically homeless that need additional supports and services. So those are just a package. There are more bills that I could talk about at length. Contact me if you want to talk more about housing bills or renter protections.
Okay, well, let's talk about programs to help the unhoused during the pandemic. What's out there for people?
For people that are experiencing hardships during the pandemic, we just saw, thankfully, that the federal legislation has expanded the CARES Act provisions, which include an extra $300 a week for folks who are eligible, who are receiving unemployment insurance. This is an extra payment, which is referred to as the federal pandemic unemployment compensation. So that, thankfully, is there for folks to get some additional money into their pockets. We're really relying on federal legislation to help provide and infuse our state with additional assistance. They're currently looking at a big, huge relief package in Congress right now. I'm hopeful that with the new administration and our new majority, we're going to see that move. Locally, though, you can go to Thurston Strong, which is a local coordination of resources for small businesses in general, and also nonprofit grant assistance. You can also reach out to the Community Action Council of Lewis, Mason, and Thurston counties. They have been distributing the dollars that cities have put forward to help put folks in our community. You can also get access to utility assistance through the Community Action Council. But I would also like to add that most cities in Thurston County are providing some sort of assistance for their customers, whether that be utility billing, the different customer services that they have. So I would contact your local government to find out if you're eligible to receive any of that assistance. Counties also have programs that you might be eligible for, and we'll continue to work for working families and low-income people in the legislature. We're looking at a number of progressive revenue options. There was just a wealth tax that was put forward by Representative Noel Frame to get some additional revenue so we can have a robust social safety net that protects people in our communities.
Okay, some of this might be review for people because you've already talked a lot about programs that are there for people in need, but are there any statewide economic assistance programs available to Thurston County residents?
Statewide economic, could you say that again?
Statewide economic assistance programs. I know you've been talking about a lot of assistance programs, but yeah, for anybody in Thurston County, where should they go? Yeah, like how do they find out about them, and how do they apply?
Well, those nonprofits and the Thurston County Strong, they have
Okay.
resources and programs for people. They kind of are a one-stop shop for folks, so you can see all the different grant opportunities, assistance in one place, as well as the Thurston Action Council of Mason, Lewis, Thurston counties. They also have, they're more tailored to assistance through things like utilities or healthcare assistance, whereas Thurston Strong is more focused on businesses, nonprofits, grants to keep folks' doors open. You can also go to the Department of Commerce. I know that they're distributing some of the rental assistance programs. And at all, if all else fails, if you are in need of assistance and you don't know where to go, contact my office. We have staff that's their role, is to help connect you with services that you might not even be aware that is available to you. So you can contact me at my legislative email address, which is jessica.bateman@leg.wa.gov.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. You mentioned earlier about the COVID vaccine. Um, what do people how do people find out about those tiers? I think you mentioned a website. Could you repeat that website?
Yeah, I think the what I mentioned was the email address if you have been charged, but locally, Thurston County Public Health is the organization that is responsible for the distribution of our vaccine and kind of overseeing that whole process. So you can go to thurstoncounty.wa.gov, and they have a vaccination and COVID-19 bullet on their website, page on their website. You can also contact your Thurston County commissioners, which make up your Thurston County Board of Health, and one of their assistants can help you navigate where to go. I think we're going to see more vaccination sites and activities. I think that the Senior Center in Olympia is going to be a vaccination site. So we want to make sure that people have access to all those resources. So definitely check out the Thurston County website and the Thurston County Department of Health.
Well, thanks for taking the time to be with us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we let you go?
It's an honor to serve. I'm so excited. We are doing some incredible work this legislative session. Do get in touch with me. I would love to hear from you to learn about your priorities. Stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
All right. Thanks, Jessica. For information about economic assistance, please go to thurstonstrong.org. For more information about vaccinations in Thurston County, go to thurstoncountywa.gov. And to contact Representative Jessica Bateman, send her an email at jessica.bateman@leg.wa.gov. If you know of something we should cover on this program or information we should deliver, please send me an email, rkam@tcmedia.org. Stay home, stay updated with Thurston Community Media, and stay safe, Thurston County.